Good evening, and welcome to the May 23rd edition of the Speedway Redevelopment Commission. Welcome to the most exciting week in Speedway, Indiana. I will call our meeting to order at 6 o'clock and do our roll call. With me tonight is our Vice President, Rhonda Schwartz, our Secretary, Sean Harold, our members, Adam Young, and our Speedway School Representative, Eric Roseborough. We also have our town manager with us, Grant Kleinhens, and in the audience is our executive assistant, Eder Lopez. So thank you all for being here tonight. I have confirmed a quorum, and there has been proper notice of our meeting this evening. Have we received any public comment electronically? No. Awesome. Nobody in the audience tonight, unfortunately, but hopefully next meeting. Next, we'll move on to the consent of our regular session meeting minutes from April. Those have been previously distributed. Are there any other comments or corrections? All right, seeing none, we'll approve those by consent. Moving on to our approvals of claims and expenses for this month. Grant, any
Yes.
specific items to go over?
I can cover the larger expenses so you get a better understanding of what those are. So starting at the top, American Structure Point, the second item, linear, you'll notice it says Linear Park Project. If you remember, we did hire them in, I think it was January of this year, to put together some conceptual and cost estimates for a proposed linear park along Georgetown Road. That committee met over the past several months. They've provided a final draft of that. I'm going to be frankly honest, I have not been able to move that ahead. Too many other pressing projects that have been in the works. We're paying a portion of that, $3,487. First Engineering Group, the 10th and Castle project, the traffic signal and lighting there. This was a review, construction inspection payment, $1,752. Globe Asphalt for the Main Street lot, as well as nope, that's their only one, $18,479. Hoosier Company has two payments there, both for the 10th and Castle project. Those are for the construction. Those close the projects out. We will have no other expenses from them. The only other item that is sitting out there, and I know, Jennifer, we've discussed it, the relocation and removal of those lights, but that's a big expense, and Indianapolis has committed to doing that. We just don't know when that might be. Nick Raymond Landscape, if you've been on Main Street, the landscape and maintenance that we did there has been completed. River Rock has been installed with the different new plants as well as the trimming of the trees. I drove down it today. I think it looks pretty good. They will need a year to kind of recover, grow, and develop. They are daylilies, so daylilies, as you know, bloom in June. That's the only problem with that. We're not going to have a lot of color for the race ever, but it will look good throughout the year. We're lucky we have knockout roses and other items that do bloom, so it still has some aesthetic look. So that is the full payment for that bill. REA Rundle Ernstberger, the Gateway and Roundabout Signage Project, $8,775. And then Tech Light is also some of the equipment for the 10th and Castle project at $40,800. So those are a review of the larger expenses. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Any questions for Grant? All right, I will go ahead and entertain a motion.
I will make a motion that we approve the claims as presented.
And I will second that motion.
Awesome. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the claims and expenses, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Next on our agenda is the director's report. Grant?
I'm not necessarily the director, but I'm sitting in for the director. A couple of updates I have. We are still working through some issues with the 1300 block project. I've mentioned that to you regarding their changeover from, their changeover from apartments to condominiums. So there is an additional hookup fee. There's also some discussion about some concrete work that they would like to discuss. That's something I'm trying to work through with Veritas as the lead, helping me and bring a recommendation to the SRC for discussion. I would have hoped to have had that done by now, but it's just not progressed as quickly as I thought. The value engineering that is being done by Bomar Group for the canopy for the stage at the Pocket Park is still ongoing. If you remember, that came in maybe 10 or 20,000 higher than we thought. We asked them to look at removing a drain, a roof drain, or downgrading the material without cheapening it, and they are still working on that. The parking lot over on 16th Street, if you haven't noticed, landscaping has been installed. The base coat is done. It has been temporarily striped for parking. In fact, they parked it over the weekend. It does have 75 spots. You can park about 80 vehicles in it, though. There was some space in the back that was allowable to park, so they parked them there. The only two items that are outstanding is the top coat needs to be done. They are hoping that will be done the first or second week of June after the race. And then the second item is the installation of the gate arms that we purchased. Those still have not arrived. Once they arrive, everything is ready to go. The electrical, the concrete island, everything's ready to go. They'll just have to plug it in. My guess is it'll take them a couple of days. That hopefully will be done maybe by the end of June, maybe in time for Brickyard. That's in August, I know, but I say June, it might be July, so we'll see. The only other project that I wanted to give an update on was Founder Square. Freddy's opened this past week. The town, we have not had a ribbon cutting with them or an official welcome from the chamber. Probably need to schedule that. But they did open last week for a soft opening. I think they had one of those family and friends type practice sessions where they invite people in, they order and work the bugs out. Vince Noblet, myself, and Cheryl McElroy went out last Thursday. That was one of the days that I came in last week and felt good enough to work, and met with the manager and just talked about the community, welcomed them. I think they're very excited to be here. They've already seen good business there and good traffic, so that's a good thing. The hotel there is moving forward. As you can see, the walls are up. A lot of that site work still has to be done, but the walls are going up and they're progressing. So good progress out there. Nothing has happened with the senior living project, nor the other hotel potentially, or the retail element. And Valvoline, as you know, has been approved. They just don't have all of their documents ready to get a go-ahead from our building commissioner to get started with construction. I think he thinks that'll be in the next 30 or 45 days. So that's kind of an update on those projects. I know we have a lot of other things going on. We're still trying to get appraisals for that property owned by Rebar, the house. We've really been unsuccessful in that, and I apologize for not moving that ahead more quickly. And also the hotel, there's activity there. They've cleaned the site up, they've fixed the fencing, they've put signs up showing the future Wilshaw Hotel, and they are close to moving to that next step. There's just some minor things that need to be worked through. We will be working with Laura Beck on a press release over the next couple of weeks as that closing date gets set, and we hope there's some more activity out there by the end of June. So that's my report. I'll take any other questions that you might have.
I have a question going back to 1300 block on Rebar. Do you know why they ran the electrical for apartments?
Well, it's the water line, it's the meters.
Okay.
I do not have an answer to that, Rhonda.
Okay.
That was one of my questions because originally it was supposed to be, and I'm not sure what happened.
Okay.
So
Well, good news, all the condos have accepted offers on those. So
Yeah.
there are none available.
And I think my understanding is they want to turn everything into condominiums.
Yeah, they're all sold.
Yeah,
I think
right.
8 on the second floor.
Okay.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's worked well.
It has.
I think it's been received well. So anyway.
And that's good. Yeah.
Any other questions for Grant?
No, thanks, Grant.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to our new business portion of the agenda. First up this evening is the TIF Restatement Proposal, and I believe we have some guests here tonight.
Yeah, Barnes and Thornburg, Richard, and I'm sorry, I can't remember your associates' names. Max. We met about a month ago, I feel like it was. So let me just give a very quick, brief background, and then I'll turn it over to Richard. I had Eder include this. In 2021, we approved actually a proposal to go ahead and move this forward. You can see Brody signed it. For whatever reason, that didn't move forward. I know they've had staff changes, and a year's gone by. So the only real change in this agreement before you is the cost. The cost has gone up slightly. I still don't believe it's unreasonable. I think it's not to exceed $18,000. This is something we need to do. It's something that should be done every 3 or 4 years, depending on the level of activity and the projects that we have. In order for TIF to be used on projects, they need to be included in that economic development plan, and ours has kind of gotten a little stale or out of date. So, Richard, I'll turn some time over to you to fill in any details that I didn't provide, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Thank you for being here, letting me be here and make the proposal. Barnes and Thornburg's had a long relationship with the town of Speedway. Really excited with what you guys are doing. Saw the story today and on the news. It's just a lot to celebrate. So congratulations, and we're happy to have been a part of a lot of that. As Grant said, this plan, like many municipalities' plans, has just kind of evolved with piecemeal amendments that were necessary to complete the project at hand. And I think it's gone so long that now it's time to restate the plan, which allows it to be consolidated, one source for all the information, as opposed to piecing together the different amendments. But also to help you think about, the future planning, et cetera. It's a good opportunity to say, what really are our priorities? Where do we see projects coming in the future so that we can include those in the plan? So I'd be happy to answer any questions, but that was our thoughts when Grant and I got together.
How long will this process take to get I know it has to go through the town council as well as the SRC.
Yeah, it's really, that's the procedural process, which you can get done in, 2 months. But it's more the planning, how much time you want to take to work through the new plan, the new project list, et cetera.
Well, good timing, because we have a comprehensive plan coming up, so I think we'll have a lot of synergies here, so that'll be great.
Don't.
Okay, thank you. And this is, as Grant mentioned, this is my colleague Max Adams, who would be working on it as well.
Great. Good. Look forward to working with you all. Well, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion then for approval of the TIF restatement proposal.
I'll make a motion that we approve the TIF reinstatement proposal.
I'll second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0.
So Jennifer, if you could sign that, we'll get it to them,
Yeah.
and we can start that process over the next month or so.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
At least maybe next week.
Right, exactly.
Thank you so much. All right, our next order of new business is the proposal for Crawfordsville Road intersections at High School and Main Street.
Yes, so this item, basically it's a survey agreement with CRIPE to do survey work for our proposed gateway improvements and gateway improvements and the roundabout. There needs to be a more detailed survey to understand what property we actually have access to, where some of the utilities and other issues are. So with this proposal, we were provided this. I did review this with our street commissioner, Rob Wetnight. $33,000 is very reasonable for this type of work, particularly for two large locations with as much utility and other items as are in those areas. So we recommend this proposal. It'll take them a couple of months to get this wrapped up. But we do recommend moving forward with this and CRIPE.
I know we had gotten a previous proposal earlier with kind of unclear boundaries, and the number was a lot more than this.
Yeah.
And so that's why Tim had asked for REA to help kind of define those boundaries a little bit better and get a better idea on the scope. I think, we recently had the design completed, but we're not sure in what areas or how we're going to move forward with that, but we need this basic information to know how to kind of tackle that. So with that, I guess I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion on the proposal for Crawfordsville Road intersections at High School Road and Main Street to be approved with CRIPE.
I'll second.
Awesome. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0.
The one additional comment I might have about this item, and you mentioned it earlier with the council, I really think the next step, obviously they need to work on this, but I think our next step should be a joint meeting with the council and SRC to really go over that design or proposed design. Jennifer and I met with REA 3 weeks ago, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago, looking for a discussion about items that could be scaled or even broken out and do a schedule, maybe over a 2 to 3 or 4 year time frame, just so we don't have to come up with all those dollars at once. I think that would provide us the opportunity to plan, look at our finances, also look for grant funding sources out there. We've also had initial conversations with City of Indianapolis DPW for some dollars for the safety improvements. They're unfortunately not willing to pay for the aesthetic improvements. But some of the safety improvements around the roundabout that we had proposed, like higher curbs, other items, signage, et cetera, they're willing to participate with. And in fact, Krista Carlino, who is our city county councilor, one of them, Jessica McCormick as well, they've both been working together. They have potentially $150,000 being included in the budget for 2023 for DPW to help with those improvements potentially. So we're going to go to a hearing in August. That's when they start doing their budgets. We're going to try to speak. I'll probably discuss with you. I know Vince wants to go as well, but we can get those dollars from Indy. That helps us, our dollars go further. And the reality is the road is Indianapolis's. It's not our road. The roundabout's ours. I mean, the decorative elements that, like I said, they care, but they're not going to spend their dollars on that. So,
And I think we've also identified an opportunity to share this with the public soon too, and there's some areas of input there that we'll be looking for as well.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
yeah. Thank you.
All right. Next on our agenda is old business, of which there is none. So any other announcements or events coming up other than this big race thing?
We got the race, obviously Carb Day, but Rockin' on Main, down on Main Street, Friday, it starts at 5?
Yes, the concert kicks off,
Yeah.
the first band kicks off at 5 with the other band, I think at 7.
Okay.
And it goes till 10 p.m.
Yep, and there'll be bands down at Daredevil too, so both ends of the
Yep.
street, and plenty to do and plenty to food and drink to be
Yeah.
found.
So I think we have at least one food truck with potentially a second coming. There is a beer garden with adult beverages, several other vendors. So it should be a really great activity. I'm excited about it. I think there's a lot of energy and excitement there, and our staff's worked really hard to put that together. In fact, we got quite a few sponsors. With only a short notice to get started, we actually got a lot of sponsorship dollars.
Yeah, that's great.
It's encouraging to me because I think next year we can do even more, start earlier. We don't want to start in March. We want to start in August next
Right.
year. So, but it should be a great event.
Should be, yeah.
And the art pop-up, is that still?
Yeah, that goes on until, I'm not sure, through the race.
Yeah,
if not
southwest
longer.
corner of Main Street and 16th.
Yeah, at the Wilcox Cafe.
I actually stopped in there on Sunday and bought a few pieces. So
They've
it's
got
really
a
nice
lot
what
of
they've
great
done.
art. They
They
really
do.
do.
A lot of
A lot
local.
of talented
Yeah.
people.
Just a quick comment for myself. We've been a couple years since a full-blown race has been here in Speedway, but just kind of going around the town, I think I just want to thank the community. Everyone's homes look very, very well kept and very race themed. So just thank you to all of you who put forth that effort. It really does show off our town for this worldwide event. So just couldn't be more proud to be a resident here in Speedway.
The drivers will be stopping by some of the winners on Wednesday evening. So they'll be around town.
Cool.
Yeah.
The excitement is here. All right.
The only other comment I wanted to have is I know I provided you, Eder provided you with a kind of a parking report for the different lots that the SRC owns. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. They've obviously still got a couple of days, and we'll do a final accounting. But you know, a lot of those lots are used as fundraising opportunities for local groups, as well as the town parks and rec. So we really appreciate that partnership. I think that's something that really is a great opportunity and really is phenomenal, that the amount of money that they can make just from parking. So anyway, thank you for that partnership. I think that's a good thing.
Always happy to help our town. All right, with no other items, I will adjourn the meeting at 6:20.